Thanks. They want to act it up. Welcome. Gonna get my life together, y'all. Hang on.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta stay on act all junky again. Give it a couple minutes for people to get on. My camera's jumping again. I don't know why it does that every time. Trying to hook
That
up.
was a good picture you had up, though. I like that picture.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glitching again. Thank you. That was from like 2019, I think, the last family photo shoot we did before the pandemic hit.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get some professional ones done.
Been a little minute.
Yeah, your babies don't look like those babies anymore. It's
At
time for
all.
new photos.
At all. Haircuts are different. Hopefully this thing doesn't start glitching, but at least when I turn my camera off and on, it seems to adjust.
Yeah, mine was doing that last time too. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know what's going on.
Zoom
I'm
getting
out.
on my last nerve.
I don't know if it's Zoom. I'm out here in the country. You never know what you're gonna get.
Like, pay for this service, you better work.
Exactly.
And then I think I told y'all they like someone hacked my account for Zoom and spent like almost $200 on some type of phone calling service through Zoom. So I was like, bruh, I'm over Zoom right now. All right. Welcome. Just 1 week from today. Hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person for the first time.
Is it today? Yeah.
It's 1 week from today.
I don't know my life right now. Yes, it is today. It's 1 week from today. Oh my gosh, I gotta pack.
Can y'all see my eyes rolling?
But
You can roll your eyes all you want to,
you can come too. Listen, I'm real upset because I wanted to go to Mahogany Bookstore so badly,
but that's crazy.
Ain't nothing but a plane ride.
Yeah, it's open from 12 to 5. I'm like, why do y'all close? And again, like I said, Spines and Jane Allen have a chat the day before, and I know both of them just from, I've worked with Jane a couple of times at events, and Spines, obviously we work together all the time for years. Haven't met her in person, but it's the day before, and I was like, and they're open, that the event is at 7, so they're staying late that day. But I'm like, they got to lose a lot of business if they close at 5. Like, who's coming between 12 and 5 if you're working?
Are they open later on the weekend?
I think I have to go back and look at the hours. I think so, but it to me, it wasn't much of a difference. But I was like, that's the one store I wanted to go to because I wanted to get some like Black Book Matters. Like they have banners and like shirts and stuff. And I really wanted that stuff, but what can you do? Trying to see.
Girl, I couldn't even. When you said a week, I'm like, wait till what? I got to get my life together.
I'm trying to get me too. I'm like, there's so much to do in between.
I'm like, do I have a flight? I do.
Right. Right.
The problem is that I'm going from DC to Indianapolis and then back home. So I'm planning for 2 trips.
Ooh.
Wow,
From Wednesday, like I get to Indianapolis at 3:00 Friday and I leave at 3:00 Saturday. Like I'm barely there.
Oh yeah, because you're catching the tail end of the other event, right? Yeah.
Yep. So
okay, so store hour, because they have 2 locations, but yeah, Saturday again. Oh yeah, Tuesday through Saturday is 12 to 5, and then Sundays 12 to 4.
Wow.
Yeah. And they have another location in Maryland, and actually that one is open later. Oh, but those are winter hours. Those are winter hours. So January through March. They were open till 6 and 7 p.m. But anyways, that's aside from the point. I know I'm rambling on, but We are here to talk about Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. So this was a reread for me. I just remember the first time, I don't know what I read right before it, but I just was not feeling this the first time that I read it. And honestly, I can probably say that it was in the earlier stages of me just becoming a reader and stuff like that. So I don't think I was mature enough to like really appreciate Zora Neale Hurston and her work. So for me, this time around, I absolutely loved it. Did the audiobook as well as the ebook. So Ruby D, like the narration is on point. So if y'all have not had the chance to do the narration, it's amazing. What are y'all's initial thoughts? That's a classic.
I have so many thoughts, so much to say. So I'll listen to everybody else. I was a bit blown away with this book.
Yeah.
And I have 20 pages left. I haven't completely finished it, but I had so much going on with this book.
I think for me, I've heard a lot of people talk about the book before I read it the first time. So I think I was like expecting something else. And they kind of, in the way, like they idolize their relationship, like Tea Cake and Janie. And so for me, I just was like, really? Like, I guess the more I read about Tea Cake, there were some things about him that just rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm like, y'all really like loving this guy like that? But
her luck with me sucks. Just put it out there.
I was gonna say, like, to have them die, and like the first one was, you know, kind of like an arranged marriage. She married, you know, someone because that's what her grandmother told her to do. And yeah, she just did not have the best of luck with men. But then I think that's why I kind of looked at it from a different perspective. Like with Tea Cake, she was kind of able to be more herself. So that I think is what was appealing with people, is how free she was, how much fun they had together, even just laughing and being silly. And it was a different kind of love. And so I think I got it the second time around. I was like, okay, this makes sense why people loved her and Tea Cake so much. Because of the joy that he brought her. I mean, there were some like bad parts of him. Like I didn't like him disappearing for a week at a time and doing whatever, but I got it this time around. I could understand why people loved him so.
Yeah, and she summarizes it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jess. I was gonna say she summarizes it at the end when she tells the woman that she doesn't care, you know, what people think because their love was their love or something like that. And she, like you said, Renee, never felt as free as when she was with him and all of this stuff. So yeah, it just made me think about, you know, we as a society now, we're so especially with these, I know
she's
doesn't like what I'm saying. She's like, she's either really agreeing or really disagreeing.
Right.
You know, with these celebs and stuff, and we're all in their business, and we're mad when we don't know their business because they put it out there. But you know, you never know what or how someone wants to be loved. So I'm like, I'm going to stop judging people for their little relationships, and I'm just going to be like, you know, if you like it, hey, I don't have to live there. I don't have to do it.
Right.
So I'm going to stop trying to understand and stop judging. It's not for me to understand.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, like I'm in a different place in life now too. So I think I need to go back and look and see what year I first read this, because I think it'll make a lot more sense at the time period. I probably was closer to having gotten divorced and things like that. So I probably was looking at men a little differently at that point in time versus me being in a relationship now. So I think I had a different viewpoint on, you know, how she was treated in their relationship and things like that. Now I still don't like appreciate him stealing her money and all that kind of stuff. There's still some moments where I'm, you know, giving him the side eye, but I think overall, when you look at the bigger picture, like he was good for her in a sense.
Well, one thing she said was that she said, I lived the last part of my life first. And now I'm living and I 100% agree with that, because we did dumb stuff. I know I did. I'll speak for myself. I did dumb stuff when it came to guys younger Not saying I won't do dumb stuff because it's, older too, but I think that more settled, this is how we are, this is, as the older you get, but you probably she put up with a lot on both ends, but some of the things that she put up with as with a younger guy later in her life, like that phrase when she said, well, I live my life in reverse. Like, yeah, that's true.
I also love how like radically feminist this book is for the time period, and just how her character in the end chooses herself and the topics that she talked about. I just wish I could have been like a woman. Well, I don't wish that because I don't want to be a Black person in the early 1900s, but
Right.
I could experience like what it would have been like to read that book during that time period when like there was such low expectations for like what a woman could be and how a woman could think, and then to read that and see the way that she talked about a female character putting herself first and not just doing what men expect her to do, or even her grandmother expecting her to do. I love that.
I agree with what you guys are saying. When I first read it, I had to read it in high school for a lit class. Then I had to read it again in college because I was a African studies minor. So we had, of course, Zora Neale Hurston was on everybody's list. And when I read it in college, I had a different take on it. And I hated tea cake. I was like, no, I hated her. Like, why is she staying? This doesn't make sense. She putting up with so much crap. But then when I read it now, especially having read so many historical fiction books and other historical books lately, I get it now. I get it now. I get how women were during that time. And like you said, I think that was you, Jackie, in the end, she did make this feminist movement by choosing herself. When back when this was written, women didn't have the option to choose themselves. Like, you better stay and you better put up with it. I just finished reading Perfect Peace, that reading that at the same time as reading this, and this woman, she's putting up with a man who didn't even want to touch her. She had to just stay. So I agree with you. Like, in the end, she did choose herself, and that was so radical at that time. Like, what? She left and she gonna be by herself? No, but I love it. I love it reading it this time. And then hearing Ruby D read it.
Yes.
Made it even better.
Yeah. Last time I read it was 2018. So 5 years ago, almost to the date, like May, June. Yeah, I was reading some weird stuff back then. Anyhow, go ahead.
I was sad because just reading the book, I'm Googling getting dates, and I'm like, okay, I think it was 1937 for the founding of this community, Eatonville. And it's the next county over from me. It's Orange County. I'm in Polk County. It borders. It's literally, if there's not even traffic on I-4, I can be there in about 70 minutes. So my mom was born and raised here in Polk County. And so she was born in 1947 in Polk County. And my mom is 75 years old. And the first thing she said is, I've never heard of Eatonville. I'm like, what do you mean? She's never heard of Eatonville. And when I was reading, I was waiting for him to because, when he was like saying he was going to Ocala and Maitland and Leesburg, recruiting people saying, hey, I have this community, I can sell this land and so forth and so on. So it just kind of made me sad that it's right down the street from here. And my mom's heard of Nora, but she's never heard.
Alexa, lights on.
Huh? Did someone say something?
Sorry, I was talking to Alexa. Sorry.
Oh.
So that was just interesting to me. And also just that everything could have been, they could have been right here in 2023. And I'm like, okay, we're almost not even 100 years and they still doing the same. It's the same. I'm like, when are we going to learn? I didn't like how first he had good intentions, getting a community together, becoming the mayor, so forth and so on. But then I was like, well, how far removed are you? 55 some years, 60 years since Juneteenth. And now why are you treating your own people like this?
Yeah.
And so it made me just think like when are Black people gonna, we have to do better. And I'm like, isn't it? I hear people say it's in our DNA. Renee, you're from Canada, or were you
Mhm.
born and raised in Canada? Or
I was born there. I moved to the States when I was 4, but I was born there.
Okay. So like, I wonder like Canadians Black people who migrated from how they are, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like, it just hurt my feelings that here this Black man had the withdrawal, the money to get these 50 acres of Edenville, but he says he's the mayor and he wants to be democratic, but he at the same point wasn't really, in my opinion, really being fully democratic. It was still a dictatorship.
Yeah.
But these are your own people. And then there was something where it was certain he wanted Black people who could only buy, not, I guess rent per se. So it was just interesting, that dynamic. And it just made me sad because I always wonder, like, why do we do this to each other? So.
Yeah, good points.
I just think it's interesting that the themes and stuff that she explored way back then are still relevant today. Like the whole thing with the hurricane and the storms and how some people listen, how some people don't, how tragic that is, how relationships are, how some men still view women, you're supposed to sit down in your place, you're supposed to do what I say, you don't have a brain in your head to think with, even after all of these years. It's just amazing how she could write that way and it's still, relevant today. That's just amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I said to myself, watch this book, it could be right now, even before I started, because it just seems like history definitely we're just in this vicious cycle. We keep doing the same thing over and over. What did you all think about Miss, what was her name? Was it was it Taylor? The lady that was that hated Black people.
Yeah, she was interesting.
I called her Karen.
I had this picture, that description of her. I had this picture of what she must have looked like. And I'm just kind of like, there we go again, that hate for ourselves and hating on each other. And it just made me sad that it's just crazy.
Well, I think she just, it does still happen, but then it was even more so. And it was because your proximity to whiteness was safety for you as well. And so it was bred into us to not like to hate against each other like that. Like it was a thing. And I remember my grandmother saying how much they were teased for being so light skinned, but it was more of a like, almost like I hate to say jealousy, but it was like, oh, because they knew that the treatment levels would be so different. So she wrote what was true then, but I agree with you. Like there are still people now that still bury those seeds, or they don't bury them, they pull them up to the top and don't even realize where it came from. There was an intentional effort to segregate us within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
For too long, and still working on through it, but
yeah.
The first time that I read this book, I read an excerpt of it in high school, and I was like the only Black girl in my class, and I remember my teacher was white, and I remember there's like a passage towards the end when they're describing tea cake, and they describe him as having like liver lips and like a flat nose, and just describing like Black features in such a derogatory way. And I remember like feeling so awkward and uncomfortable, like being the only Black person in my classroom reading that. And then now, like going back and reading it again, I'm like, it really was unfortunate that, even in 2023, I would not expect a white person to be able to read this book and analyze it in the way that we are. But it was really interesting the way that she kind of juxtaposes the like issues with colorism and the way that she talks about like darker skinned Black people, but then also the fact that like I was reading the afterword and they talked about how Zora Neale Hurston always wrote her books in African American English, which most authors of the time didn't do that. So it's like on one hand, it was just I felt like she was just so poetic in the way that she was able to talk about those themes and like talk about like the anti-Blackness within our culture, and then also like adding validity to Black language by choosing to write the book in African American English instead of writing it in like more like standard American English. So I loved like getting to re-experience that now as an adult and feel comfortable exploring those themes.
Thanks for sharing that. That also reminds me of Barracoon. I don't know if y'all have read Barracoon. I just pulled it off the shelf because it's one of my favorites. Actually, I think this was the first Zora book that I've ever read. And if you've ever listened to the audiobook, it's the same. Like the language and how he spoke and her interviewing and writing his life story, like it doesn't, you can read it, but it doesn't, the audiobook captures it in a way that it's just remarkable. The language that how he spoke and stuff like that, and it just, the dialect, it just really gives you, I don't know, a good feel of the times and how, their history and what life was like.
Yeah, PBS had a documentary on Zora. I want to say it was sometime in February. I need to go back and completely watch it or pay attention while watching it. But they talked about her decision to use African American, English or dialect or whatever in her writings, and exactly how she would write her books. And then to your point about the colorism, I'm trying to remember when they did the movie adaptation, was there talks about why what's his name, Michael Ealy was chosen? Yeah, because now that I think about it, I'm like, I probably wasn't paying that much attention to the discourse then, but after reading the book and the description of TK, it made me think back like, okay, I know people cut up about the decision to have Michael Ealy play his character.
I need to watch that because I've actually never watched and sorry, my camera was acting crazy, so I had to turn it off. But yeah, I need to go find if I can see if it's streaming anywhere.
Yeah, I need to watch it too. I think I never watched it, or I didn't watch it when it came out because I hadn't read the book. So
Same.
yeah, but
now I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Halle Berry is Janie?
Yep.
Yes.
Wow. I'm looking at it now. Looks like you can catch it on Amazon, so I might be doing that tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Terrence Howard's in it too. Look at this. Wow.
No, he should be TK.
Amazon Prime. Okay, I have that.
Yeah, he would be a good.
He is a little dysfunctional. Bless his
Ruby
heart.
D actually played in the movie too. Okay. That's Nanny.
And after listening to the audiobook, I had to look and see what all has Ruby D narrated. I want to listen to everything. I played a thing for my dad yesterday. He was like, "Oh my God." So yeah, she narrated 2 other Zora Neale Hurston books that I will be reading or listening to.
Same. Let us know what they are, because oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that narration was so perfect.
So good, yeah.
Because it was so, quite often when you have dialect in books, it's too put on. Hers was like, this is how I know these people. I grew up with these people. I have people like that in my family. Like I could hear them in her, but she was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah, I felt like I was transformed or transported back into that time period. Like I could see everything, I could hear everything. And like I said, I read this in college because I was an English major. And, of course, we focused on the literary part, but it was just to think like Zora is brilliant. And I don't think I appreciated how brilliant she was until that documentary that Asia's talking about that came on PBS. Like she just was brilliant. My favorite chapter was the hurricane chapter, as descriptive as it was. And one of the questions that she said was like, they were watching the sky and trying to think, was God something about measuring his ability against theirs or something. And it's just like, there is a bigger picture. There's a stronger energy, you know, than us by ourselves. So I really.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like that
yeah.
chapter too.
That's one of the passages I highlighted. And
Mhm.
the sentence that you're talking about, Talisha, is they sat in company with the others in other shanties, their eyes straining against crude walls and their souls asking if he meant to measure their puny might against his. They seemed to be staring at the dark, but their eyes were watching God.
God, yeah.
Forgive me, Ruby, because it didn't sound like
It's
you
good.
did it.
Sheila, I just want to go off something you said when you said you highlighted one of the reasons why I listened to it on Audible, because I actually own 2 copies.
Uh-huh.
And one was highlighted from when I read it in high school and one from when I read it in college. And I wanted to read it with fresh eyes so that I could,
Oh,
you know, because
That's
it's such a heavy book. I don't really remember. I didn't really remember that much of it till I started reading it. Like, oh yeah, but I wanted to read it with fresh eyes. I did see the movie, and I was gonna watch it again as I was reading the book, and I said no. But I do remember in the movie, like you said, Terrence Howard would have been a better tea cake.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he would have been. But I will say, Halle Berry did do, to me, I think when I watched it, she did a good job at that time as Jane.
Who was Joe, her first husband in the movie?
Let me see. Hang on.
What was the second husband? What was the first husband that had the horse feet?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't remember
I think
him
his name was like
either.
Jonathan or something.
All I know is she told her grandmother he looked like a skull from the graveyard. What did she say?
And his feet were like donkey, like hooves.
Ruben Santiago was who played her Joe
Oh,
Stark.
I like him.
Yeah,
I can see
Santiago
that.
Hudson. Yeah.
Don't seem like he'd be old enough though, but
And I like the last scene before she got ready to leave Joe, when he tried to embarrass her in the store. And so she went in on him about his gut and all that stuff. I was like, you go, girl. I was cheering her on when she went in on him. She read him real good.
Okay, so really quick, y'all, the 2 other books that Ruby D narrated, it's Mules and Men, and then Every Tongue Got to Confess. And then also our other fave, Anjanou Ellis, she narrates Hitting a Lick with a Crooked Stick.
I have that too. Man, I feel like all my Zora books are on this bookshelf because you said that. I'm like, I know exactly where that copy is.
I got that gift, that set, like
Oh
above.
yeah, that was the thing
that
we were
was
talking
so
about. Yeah.
pretty.
I got that.
So pretty. And I don't have it.
Now I feel like I need to buy all her books.
Yeah, look, I'm like
Yes,
pulling stuff out off the shelf. I have everything.
Yes, that
Lies,
box set. Yes.
Find that at.
With the beautiful,
Amazon?
it came out last year.
yeah,
Mhm.
I wanted it.
It's sold out.
No,
I think it's
not
still
sold out.
there.
Yeah.
How
should
much
be.
was it?
Child, I don't know.
I can't
Well,
remember.
do
what
I
the
ask how
price
much
was.
books cost? You know.
Right.
I just buy it.
Yeah, I was like, I have most of her stuff, but it's, not, but I want that set. This book was kind of special to me because it actually came from my grandmother. This got her, she wrote her name in the book. So it's like, Lord knows how old this actual book is. But yeah, my grandmother loves to read too. And so this is one of her, I need to tell my mom that because she just came from Canada from visiting her. But yeah,
Cool.
every time I open it, she marked it with her name, which is what I need to start doing with my books.
On page 100.
Right. That was smart. I was like, whoever thought to do that, like mark it on page 100 so you can always know that it's hidden there.
We're
You know,
not gonna say anything about Nicole, but
At
I know
all.
we're not.
listen, that was a hot mess.
I'm gonna mark my books from here on out.
A long story short, for those of y'all that don't know, Nicole loaned her book to a coworker, and the coworker read it and then sold the book for money.
And then bought her a different book.
they
I'm still laughing at
bought
that.
her one. Say here, bro, I'll replace it with
So
this.
she's nice enough to admit that she sold your book.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
She said, "Oh, I sell all my books when I'm done." So I thought you do the same thing.
yeah.
But
And it
kept
was
the money. Didn't offer her the money that she got.
Just
Like
gave her
nothing.
some random book as a replacement. Like here's
Here.
my offering.
Some book that Nicole would never read.
Never. Did you give the book? Did you give the book to her?
She
No.
loaned it.
Y'all ain't. Oh no.
Okay. And
Couldn't be
yes,
me.
if you ask, she was part of the Mayo colony. If you're wondering.
Or the Mayo clique. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Couldn't be me, man.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. The audacity. That's first and foremost.
It's more like the caucasity, but that's another story.
Mm.
It was a hot mess. Yeah. So I don't loan my books. Actually, I've loaned out books in the during the pandemic, and still I see this person all the time and still have not got my books back. So I'm like, never again.
You didn't
Never
ask.
again. Like, I know if I ask for it right now, because she's done with them. Like, she said one time, like, my books are just sitting there waiting. But I actually saw her today when I dropped off Tatum late to school. Waved hello, never mentions the books. But a few of them that I gave her were ones that I know I'll never read. It's just the Kiss
principle.
Quotient, I know, is one of them. Sorry, my screen is glitching. So that is probably the only one that I would want back, but the rest of them I could care less. Because it's not something I would read. It's probably something I would have donated to Goodwill. And, back then publishers would just send me whatever. Now I know better and only request and accept what I actually am going to read.
Right.
So, yeah. Any other thoughts?
Yes.
do have a
what's
quick
the-
question. It was hard for me to read, follow the language. And like you were saying about listening to Ruby Dee do that performance, I loved it. It's like I wasn't into it when I was reading it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But listening to it on Audible, I was like, I listened to it all in one day because I just
Yeah.
sat there and just listened to it.
I feel like I sorry. I was like, I feel like they just audiobooks add a whole different, just layer to books, and experience is the word I was looking for. So now, I mean, I do a lot of the Kindle challenges because a lot of y'all on here put me onto those, but now it's like without question, I have to do audiobooks in either the physical or the Kindle simultaneously. It's usually Kindle and the audiobook simultaneously. I can't read any other way now. That's every book I've read this year has been that way. Have to have the audible to read. And it also keeps me at a pace of going. Like if I didn't have the audible and I had to read physically on my own and just pick up the book, it would never happen.
I can see how reading it could be difficult because you're trying to process the words in the way that we, in the more, the European correct, whatever, like the way that we've been taught. So when you're trying to process reading in the African-American dictionary, whatever that, I can't think of what it's called right now, but the way that she
Vernacular.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. I was like, what am I trying to say? When you're trying to read that and process it through like our way of learning and reading and writing today, I could see how that is like, wait a second.
Yeah. It just sounded,
Slows you down.
Especially for those of us who grew up in the South or have relatives from the South, like it sounded like my great uncles and aunts talking. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have to go, wait, I understood every word when she was saying it versus reading. I'm like, I'm Guam, what?
Yes.
What was the word Gasti something, which is buttocks. I couldn't find it in the dictionary. Then I had to
Yeah.
so there was a few words, but I was surprised that I was able to get through it and understand pretty much what was going on as well.
One of the first times I tried to read the book, I got stuck at the very beginning where they were saying, I God. I couldn't figure out what that meant and I could not go on. So then I found the Audible version and it discovered that meant, oh God. And I was like, okay. So then I just kept up with the Audible book. It was just easier to do that. But one of the things that stood out for me about this book is in the end, when she was on trial for killing TK, the white people believed her before
And the blacks
people
didn't.
did.
Yeah,
That
that
stood out
was
for me.
interesting.
That was puzzling. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I got to read to finish that part.
And it took
That
some
pissed me
time.
off that the people who were around her and like knew their relationship would just automatically be like, oh yeah, she killed him and she need to go to jail, whatever. Like just
And then they got unmad in 2 days. I was
Right.
like,
That's why I was like, they forgave her anyways. Right.
the mess.
Felt
And
like
I
that had to
love,
do with her complexion too, though, because she was so sweet that they were like, oh, she looks more like us, so we're gonna take her side.
Yeah. The hair, the long hair.
But I got the impression that she wasn't, from when she tells the story when she didn't realize she was Black until she had taken the picture with the little kids. So I got the impression that she was, I don't know why I had like, but what is that country? I just had her like being kind of, a nice brown with just long hair. Like you wouldn't necessarily know that she had a white father. Because in the picture, she was like, who's that little Black girl? And they were like, that's you.
That's you.
So, and that's why I was surprised when the lady was so into her, because I'm thinking, okay, yeah, she has straight, curly, long, black, luscious hair, but she Black. She can't pass for white like you can.
Mm-hmm.
Reading all these books back to back and then rereading this, I'm just waiting for somebody to do a good, and maybe it's out there, maybe I haven't seen it, just a good deep dive into our past and the colorism and how deep it really was, because I just did Perfect Peace, and then before Perfect Peace I did House of Eve, and then I had read Yellow Wife, and then this, and the issue is just so heavy. And I don't know if people read Perfect Peace, so I won't go too much in it, but just how that
I did.
treated, because she was so dark just because of her dark skin, and then in House of Eve because of her dark skin. And like I see it even when my mother was born in Mississippi, and she was born to, they say her father was mixed, but he looked more white than anything. So out of all of her siblings, she's very fair skinned, very, long hair. So she was put on a pedestal more than the rest of her siblings were. So I see it in my family. And then when she gave birth to us, we were darker skinned, but all of her siblings had lighter skinned children. And so automatically people would assume we weren't her kids, So it's just so heavy with how, and I see it in so many books, how, like you said, maybe they believed her more because she looked more like them or perceived to look like them. And that is just such a heavy undertone in a lot of our books. Like even in Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, it was perceived that Piccolo felt she was going to be better if she looked whiter, if she was lighter. It's such a heavy theme in our books, but I like that they still explore that because it's still prominent even today.
You can see it.
It's reflecting. Oh, there you go. Color complex. Okay.
The color complex.
The color complex. Okay.
The politics of skin color in the new millennium, in our new millennium.
Wow.
It's an old, it's 20 plus years old now, but it's very good. And my take on the believing her versus us believing versus them believing, I took it more as that they believed he could be a monster or have been ravaged by this dog, and that a savage, all of those connotations that are given to Black men, they're like, yeah, she had to do that because he was dangerous and crazy and
It
bitter
was
and all these other
justified.
things. It was
Yeah.
justified. That's how I took it, more than the color thing. That yeah, of course that would have happened. So we
Right.
believe it.
That makes sense. That's a good perspective.
How did you all feel at the very, and I'm going all the way back to the front, where I was kind of like, what? Where Phoebe had sat on the front porch with all them cackling hens. Then to me, I just didn't feel like she kind of, but I felt like she should have been banging some heads way before it got to where I'm getting
That
up.
part.
I was like, wait, what? She's your best friend and you done sat there and listened to them talk all this time?
Right.
But let me take a little something to eat and see if she'll tell me what she won't tell
Right.
y'all.
So she gonna, yeah. Get
Yeah.
the 411.
Or she could have been gathering all this stuff to text to Janie too. Because sometimes you just let
That's
people
true.
play their cards but yeah,
Or the other way
I need you
around.
to speak. I need you to speak up for me though.
Right.
Because you know how they always say, now, if you come back and tell me that what they said about me, but you don't tell me what you said back to them. And that's
Right.
every time she come back, Janie, they saying you doing this. Janie, they saying you doing that. Well, what you saying? That would have been my answer, my question to Phoebe. What are you
Right.
saying, Phoebe?
But even
Right. That part.
they reminded me of the social media on the front porch. I just had this picture of them sitting talking, and I'm just like, here we are again, like with these celebrities. Like, I really don't care, but so many people feel like they need to know, like, what's going on with Kanye or this, that. It's like, we really don't know these people. We can just wish them well. Like they said, well, how dare she walk past us and not let us know what's going on with her?
Right. She don't owe you anything.
So, and I'm like, that made me think right now, like people get on Facebook and that like they expect a full blow to blow what's going on in someone's life.
Now, I will say this. If you have given me the blow every day of every business situation, and all of a sudden you talking about new me, new this, I need to know what happened because you gave me all the good, but you don't want to give me the bad.
Well, yeah,
that's what I have. Like, we so in love with this and booed up all the time, but then it's ghosting and names are changing. I'm like,
It's just gone.
looking for your
Like,
What happened?
that's like when that shit pregnant with the whole time and then don't want us to see the baby. If you don't let me see my niece,
don't give me the good if you ain't gonna give me the bad too.
Right. That part. I want
we
it
have been
all.
investing in this. I need to know what happened.
Right.
I jokingly, but I do watch that happen all the time. I'm like, and you know, the group text will start, girl, now she's still married to that man because I hadn't seen him on her timeline and blah, 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 blah. But it was every day you're posting him. And
It's funny you said like that's how I monitor like people's I usually know what's happening with their relationship before it actually comes out. Like there's a couple that I've been watching them for a long time, but they, you know, I know them through a mutual friend and they're married. But I'm like, all of her pictures, she's a photographer, the kids are there, but the husband hasn't been pictures in months. Same thing on his social media. The kids are there, wife is not there, whatever. And then like 2 days ago, my suspicions were confirmed. He posted a picture with his new girlfriend, and I was just like, wow.
Why do I think we know the same person? We'll talk sidebar.
Are they white?
Oh no, then it's not the same. Okay.
Never mind.
Well,
But it's
the
happening
same
all
exact
over.
thing just happened. But okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm just watching their social media and I'm like, and I know because I went through it, right? So I know how I acted when I was going through divorce and all of this stuff. I actually even started a whole new Facebook page because he was just all over the other stuff. But yeah, I watch people's stuff closely. I'm like, you ain't posted your significant other in a long time. What's going on? And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, new person pops up. I'm like,
doing me, living for myself. I'm like, oh, there it is. Like when those vague
those statuses start coming out.
Oh, here they go.
Those memes start going up.
Back like, okay, all right, I see.
Yep.
I'm messy like this.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy those people that share it all though. They be cursing out their significant others in the post, and then they back together. And
but you know what? I have a friend like that. I'm like, just stop, because you fall in love, and then like 3 months later, you stop, and then you like, stop, don't do that. Get established. Stop falling in love in 3 months. You pick up, and then you got a new guy.
listen, that is.
I hate, because I'm like, damn, you done had 5 boyfriends. I ain't had the first. Like, what?
We did that too.
That,
I
There's
get one.
There's a
That
whole
one.
group of them. There's a group
yeah.
of them that we.
I've seen a girl like that. And I also, for me, a race thing. I will see a lot of people of other races just go through relationships, but I'm like, weren't you just married? And now you have a whole new boy. It's like 6 months ago you were married. What happened? Now you have a whole new boyfriend. But this chick done had at least probably 10 different boyfriends in the time span of like 5 years or so. I'm like, how? And a whole marriage in between all of that. I'm like, they just move so quickly. I don't know. That's why I don't post people to social media. Y'all can know that I have a boyfriend, but you ain't gonna know who he is. And I've actually slid him in there in posts before, but people don't really know who he is, so they just.
Oh no, and I think he's popped up in my people. You should know. I'm like, that's him right there. And that's only because Renee, because I know Renee. Are y'all Facebook friends?
Yeah.
Okay,
but he doesn't have a profile picture. I don't tag him in nothing.
It's not him.
I won't mention his first name, and I won't mention his last name, because I know people will go to my friends and start searching. So, and his first name is so unique that like you can find him easily. But yeah, he's on Facebook, but he don't have a profile picture. But he is in like Tatum and Tenley's birthday. There's a group picture. He's in there. So there's places where he's like thrown in there every once in a while. So I will post him, but I'm not doing like here's the two of us, let's make a big deal out of it post.
I never I never posted.
It's healthy to do that though, to do what you're doing, and if and when you get engaged, then post
That's
it.
the time that I plan to do that.
I did. I never posted anybody on social media until I want to say it was 2 days after I got engaged. I was like, well, I think
now that yep.
And everybody's like, what? And then I posted my wedding like 3 days after the wedding. People
that's
like,
hilarious.
It's like, I got married.
That's always been my dream. I just want to post up like the wedding picture one day and just be like, boom, yeah, be done. Yep. He would be mad at me though, because I'll be posting like his arm in the stories, or like, I'll post my food and you'll see like his hand in the picture. He's like, you don't post his whole body. What is this? We got a shoulder today. Okay. Be like, yep. People be wanting to know. I mean, I was single for almost 9 years, so people are like intrigued by it, but whatever, his life.
It's all good.
It's fun. It's
exactly.
All fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a fun guessing game.
I play a lot of games. It's a game.
No, I remember like back in the day when I was in a relationship with my son's father, and I guess we would get into an argument, and so he would put like not in a relationship anymore. You know how you could change your Facebook status?
Yeah, every other day.
And people would call and text me like, what happened? Y'all broke up? And I'm like, we broke up because I said I didn't want this for dinner. Like, wait, what the fuck was wrong with you?
He's single today.
I was like, yep, no, I'm not putting nobody else in a relationship with me until, like you said, after it's all official, engaged and everything.
Is it Jess? How many times I was with Jamal, on and off for like a year? How many times we broke up like every other week?
Oh man, a lot.
Jess was there. Jess was the first person I called. The final straw. I walked out of the house, didn't say goodbye.
You called me then.
Immediately on my way home. Now he lives an hour and 11 minutes away from me. I live in Gwinnett. He lives in Hampton, right? I walked out of the house because I was like, I know I didn't drive an hour for you to just sit there and ignore me and sit on the couch watching what you want to watch, whatever. And I'm sitting here at the kitchen table watching TV on my phone. I was like, fuck this. I could do this at my own house in the comfort of my bed.
With a big old TV.
Yes. So I went upstairs, packed all my shit, and I got everything because I didn't want to make trips. I didn't want to give him an opportunity to like stop me, right? So I made sure and got like everything, my suitcase, all the stuff I had. Got in one trip, put my shoes on, walked out the door, didn't say goodbye, didn't say nothing. I don't even know if I texted him. I called Jess to talk to her on the way home. Didn't hear from him for 4 months.
Wow.
From the time I walked out the door, did not hear from him in 4 months. And he still be texting me now. I'm like, bruh, yeah, you had something good. You realize that now. Crazy. But I'm like, I can't deal with this foolishness.
These men folks.
TK wasn't that bad. TK was.
Nah.
No,
TK had no problem expressing himself emotionally.
But TK was getting missing. See, that's gonna be a problem. I'm
Right.
sorry.
And my money missing
And
too?
my money.
But he came back and he
that
won out. Yeah.
$200.
He came back and he explained the money. But as he was explaining it, I was like, wait a minute.
Right.
So tell me you spent my money on somebody
You tell
else.
some women to not come in the party. You came back with $12, sir. What are
Right.
you talking about?
Where's my $200 at?
But then he went out
in the back.
He went out
in the back.
Finished, but so did she? What back? Did she go back around to the store, her house in Ellison? Did she sell it? I know she had. What happened to that property? Because she still was a widower.
Yeah, I never said who got the property, but I guess the assumption was a.
So the lawyer in me says he had it before he married her, so it was probably separate property, and she wasn't entitled to it anyway. That's the lawyer in me. But I don't know what it was. 19
to the little Hezekiah, I had him at 19, 20 years old, and then her house. I mean, like she just left everything to go with the car salesman. TK was a modern day car salesman with the financing on the car lot, everything done at the car lot. That's what I had of him.
Well, she laid out on the floor like, oh, where is it? Where my money? And he said, well, girl, why you on the floor?
Who was the first guy that she left for Joe? Like she left Joe, right? Joe's the one that she met on the corner and then they ran off, right?
She left the old man that her grandmother set her up with.
Okay, because I'm like,
I forgot his name.
Yeah.
And the pot belly.
Yeah. Yeah, I
for
forgot
Joe.
his name.
Okay, and then after Joe came TK.
That marriage. I don't think they ever consummated that marriage.
Yeah.
Because remember she went back and was just like
the attraction wasn't there. She wasn't feeling it. Like, when is this love gonna come? It's like it ain't gonna come. You're gonna have to make it do what it do. Learn to love it.
Jenny was like, get somebody else to do it. I can't do it.
Get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, get somebody else to do it. Craziness.
It was good though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I was happy to reread it and have 5 years later a fresh perspective. I went back and looked. I think at the time I read my first Jasmine Guillory book right before I had read this. So 2 totally different types of romance. And y'all know I used to stan Jasmine, right? Like that was the book, like the wedding date. I was like all about Jasmine Guillory. So I went from that to reading that. And it was just like, I don't know. I came off of this like high of reading Jasmine. And then it was like, well, this is different. Like this is some toxic love over here. So I was not feeling it.
But I'm glad she spared us the white man saying nigga, 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 and the white man beating and all that. So I'm glad that it was just an all Black story.
Yes.
So that was. But I kept saying to myself, how they traveling back and forth though, Ocala and Maitland, whatever. They ain't had not one run in with no white crazy person and here in Florida. Okay.
Not a
I
single
think because
one.
a lot of the places were still being set up. There probably weren't a lot of established white people down there yet.
They were there. Have y'all read? Well, Kenyatta, you from Florida? The Groveland Boys. There's a good book on that about Thurgood Marshall and all what happened in the lynching and all. They were there. They were in those citrus groves out there. They were hanging out. They just probably knew which way to go.
Yeah, well, and that's true too. That's true.
But they've been there.
Any other final thoughts? Man, this hour flew by.
Mm-hmm.
Normally we'd be on to talking about other stuff. But we actually stayed on topic.
No, we didn't.
For the most part. Listen, we circle back to the book. Normally we just run off and be talking about books and TV shows.
Listen, by 7:30, we'd be like, all right, what else going on?
Right. It was
Did
happening.
Well,
any
I
of you
think
guys
it
think that
inspired me to read
met
some of her
her
other
love
books. I really
end?
enjoyed it.
Oh wait, what
What'd you
were
say, Jackie?
I said, did any of y'all think that towards the end of the book she was going to end up meeting her mother?
Oh.
Way at the beginning of the book, the grandmother was like, I just feel it in my heart that she's still alive, and I don't think she died.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just like waiting for it to happen. I was like, when is she gonna like just have a chance encounter with her mother?
Yeah.
And it never happened.
She
I was
did say, she said, I would know if my child was dead.
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And so I thought maybe she would go somewhere with that, but I guess she changed her mind.
Yeah.
That would have added an interesting dynamic.
It would have.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Did any of you say you had read Hitting a Straight Lick with a Cricket Stick?
I haven't, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, that's the same.
No,
I was
never
looking through
read
it too.
Mute, baby.
I was
Mute.
looking through it to see if the language was similar.
It's not in the box set for those who are interested in the box set.
Oh,
But I
really?
do, yeah, but I
What's
have
in
it.
what's in that, if you don't mind
This
sharing?
is the complete stories, Dust Tracks on the Road, Every
Okay.
Tongue's Got to Confess, Jonah's Gourdvine, Moses, Man of the Mountain, Mules and Men, Mule Bone, A Comedy of Negro Life, Seraph and the Swanee, Tell My Horse, and Their Eyes Were Watching God,
Okay.
but not hitting it. I have that one.
Yeah.
Is that essays or is it short stories? The hidden.
I don't know.
Short stories? I think it is. I feel like it is short stories for some reason. But that was that like a new release of something? Oh, I can't remember. I think it might have been.
Seems like it
Collection
was.
of stories that flash. Yeah, it's a collection of stories.
Okay, so short stories. Okay.
Because I was gonna say some of the language in some of these is like, their eyes are watching God, but some of the stories that I'm looking at, it's like pretty straight up, like there's no slang and you can tell. So yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to read this one soon. I'll add it this year, but we'll see if I can make time for it. Well, anywho, next month we're reading Memorial Drive. I've been holding off on this one for a long time. So
I finished that in one day, in one sitting. When I started it, I could not stop it.
wow.
Wow.
I was reading a book and listening to the Audible because, like Renee said, I'm kind of weird like that too. Like I listen to the Audible and read at the same time.
Yeah.
I could not stop. Like I couldn't stop it. Like I literally got in the shower and brought my Kindle in there to play while I was in the shower because I was like, I cannot pause it. I need to hear what is happening. And for some reason, I do not remember you telling me that this was a true story because it doesn't read like a true story at
She's a
all.
poet. She's a poet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was very
Well,
good. Very good.
well, y'all know there are certain books that we don't name anymore, but and I think Bernadette likes it, but Memphis, the author of Memphis was a poet too. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh, was she? I didn't know that. But
She was a poet first, but this lady's a poet. But I read it. I think I'm gonna listen to it this
I'll
time
listen
if
to
I
it
can
this
make it through it again.
yeah. I was like, I know everybody's like, oh, you're bringing a sad book and it's heavy. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all know how I do in the summertime. It's going to be some type of romance or whatever to keep it light. So I was like, I just went heavy to close out.
It's a good read. I think we'll have a good discussion.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. That and the Yellow House. I was going back and forth between which of the two to do. And we still may do the Yellow House like next year or something like
that one
that.
was so good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet though.
I think I'll add that.
Same.
I kept going back and forth between the two, but so I think the Yellow House maybe next year because I just don't want to add too much heavy stuff on here. But yeah, I think that's on the list.
I know people who didn't like it, but I enjoy it. I mean, it gave a lot of history of New Orleans East, but like even before Katrina, but it was excellent. I thought it was excellent.
I thought so too. What didn't they like about it? Do you know?
People were saying, I guess it was that part. They were like, it was so much history, it was so much this. I'm like, but it explained the story. Like it told you how they got to that part, of why it was so impacted. It was built on a swamp. But I enjoyed it.
And we had rough history.
We do.
Yep. Cool. But you ladies have been awesome per usual. So yeah, next month will be Memorial Drive, and then we'll lighten up again for June and July. I'm excited for Memorial Drive though. Like I said, it's been on my list for a while.
It's on my TBR as well, so I'm glad I saw it when I saw that was on Facebook. You posted it was out Mabel.
Yeah, give a little push for those of us who need to read it. So I'm excited for that.
My Hoopla had the audio version, so y'all try, check out Hoopla for.
That's a good idea. I be forgetting to request stuff until y'all say something, and then it's like an 8-week wait.
Well, Hoopla
anyways.
is like immediate.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
though? I think
For me, it is.
Hoopla has to be in your area or something, and I'm not able to get it because Gwinnett or
Yeah,
something.
Gwinnett doesn't have it because my best
Yeah.
friend can't get Hoopla.
Yeah, because I've tried to have it.
Everybody got a cousin or a friend or something that's in the South where they got it.
Right.
I have Hoopla for 3 different cities and not mine. So
boom. Look, Memorial Drive is actually, well, you guys can't see, but it's on Libby.
Yep, I got it in my Libby.
Let me see how long
That's what I got in my Libby too.
When you get it in your Libby though, it won't let you transfer to your Kindle to read in your Kindle. Mine's will only let me read it in the Libby.
Really?
I think
the books that do that.
In most cases, I usually
yeah.
already have the audio book. I mean the ebook because I just buy a lot of stuff. But it's the audio book that it's only 5 hours long. That's not bad.
No,
Yeah.
it's a quick read. It's a
And
heavy
I'm-
read. It's a quick one.
And I'm mad because I know that book has been on sale for 4 or 5 different times.
Yeah,
And
you know I be posting it. I be posting it. I probably
and I assumed that I already had it. But
listen. I will check a book 5 times to make sure I have it because every time I'll go in there and be like, do I have this? Because I can't remember. I have over like 300 and something books, I think, or more than that.
Yeah, I'm about to say you have to have more than that because I got way more than that.
Yeah, I'm lying. It's probably more like 8.
I've read it in physical, but my Libby does have both. But that's the only thing. Like when I do the Libby, if I do the Libby audio and then download for Kindle Challenge, I'm like, it won't keep up because
somebody just said something about black cake.
Oh, it ran out.
Oh, Jackie said you have 50 pages.
I was so sad.
Man.
I was like, and the night that I was gonna finish reading it, I was like, oh, I'm too tired. I'll read it the next day. And then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh. So, but
on your Kindle, you had a Kindle?
I don't. I just use my iPad, but I have the Libby app, and that's where I get my books.
Well, how often do you use your iPad? Do you have something else? Because girl, turn the Wi-Fi off.
Yeah, we were gonna tell you if you turn the Wi-Fi off, they can't take it back until you turn it back on.
That was what I did.
Put it in airplane mode next time.
Yeah,
that's what I had did, and then I forgot and logged into Wi-Fi.
You turned it on. Yeah, I was gonna say
my iPad been on airplane mode for like a month and a half.
Wow.
Well, mine, I get so lazy, I forget to charge it, and then I'll look up, like I'm reading it, I'm in the bed reading it, so I'm like 4%, and that's when I put it on airplane, like, oh, let me turn this off, make sure that I can keep my battery life, and I don't have to plug it in.
I know.
Yeah, I might go to Barnes and Noble and just find the book and just read those last 50 pages.
That's smart, actually. Yeah, that's really a good idea.
Yep.
I think I have Black Cake on the list to read in the fall, so that might be actually a book club. So you'll have an opportunity to read it later. But
good.
I think I have that down for August actually, so not too far away.
I need to start. I see everybody posting about House of Eve. I need to start that. I finally got Jennifer Lewis's second one back on Libby. Okay. So I was like halfway done and it expired. So it came back last night and I was like, oh, started back up. So wouldn't be too far.
I gotta thank y'all. Y'all put me back on Libby and these Kindle challenges. I've used Libby more this year than I ever have. But it saved me so much money for the rare ebooks that I don't have, and then the audiobooks if Scribe doesn't have it. Because a lot of times like Libro FM, partnering with them, I have a lot of credits, and then like Independent Bookstore Day was last week, so they do a partnership every year, like, hey, if you post, partner with us, we'll give you 6 credits. So I usually try to use those credits for like brand new stuff or stuff that I absolutely need, but I haven't really been using my credits like that because Libby has come through with stuff, either that or Scribed.
Well, you gave me the hack of, and you gave it to me years ago, and I was like, I don't want to hear that. But now with the Kindle challenges, I let Alexa read to me. Depending on,
Yes.
like, there is no way she could have read this book to me. But depending on what the book is, I'm like, Alexa, read me.
Just
such
let
and
her do
such."
it.
She might
Oh,
start.
I
Um,
let Alexa read all my white lady thrillers. I'd be like, Alexa, go ahead and read that to me.
the other thing I learned too with Libby is if you have the ebook sent to your Kindle from Libby, then it thinks that you have the book. So the audiobook then is at a discounted price because you already have, it thinks you own the ebook. So like, for instance, I just got Kennedy Ryan's Reel as a library loan. And initially I think the ebook was like, the $14.99 or whatever, but then I got it for like $7.49 because I downloaded the book and it was like, okay, here you go, you can buy it at a discounted rate. So, that helps save on credits too. If it's $7, I'm just gonna buy it.
So I tried that the other day when it said upgrade with audio, it wouldn't let me do it.
You did it through like as if you're buying an ebook?
I had the book downloaded already to my Kindle.
Yeah.
And then at the top when it says enhance with audio or upgrade with audio, and I clicked that, it was like, when you buy it didn't give me an option to buy it.
So you're talking about on your actual Kindle to do it, or are you talking about on your phone?
On the app, probably on my iPad or whatever, on my phone.
I don't know about the app, but like, how we go in for ebook and we go through the web browser and stuff, that's how I buy the audiobook.
Okay.
So once I download it to my Kindle and it's on there, I go back to the web browser, search the book if it's Memorial Drive or whatever, and then it'll register that I already have the ebook, and then I buy the audio from there. And then it syncs up, of course, on your Kindle and all that with Audible.
Don't do it from the book being open in the Kindle app.
Right.
Go back to the
Go back to the web browser and do it that way. Yeah, because I just got Reel for $7.49, and then House of Eve, I think I know I bought it for $5.99, but I can't remember if I bought the audiobook or not for that. But
speaking of Kennedy Ryan, did you see Before I Let Go is being made into a series?
I did. I'm excited for that.
that.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love that book. So I've never read anything by her until that. So that's why I'm like, everybody talks about Reel being the next book. So I just started that yesterday. So far, so good.
I have it, but I haven't started it yet.
Yeah, I'm going to read that. And then House of Eve I'm going to read that book about DC that I posted earlier today. Start that next. And then after that, I think House of Eve.
Renee, I thought you read House of Eve. You didn't read it yet? You read Take My Hand.
I've only read, that's Dolan though. Sadiqua is Yellow Wife. We did that as a book club pick, but I have not read. I have House of Eve, the physical copy, but I have not read it.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah. I didn't read White first, but if you read Yellow Wife first, the child in Yellow Wife, Birdie, is in House of Eve.
Okay. Cool.
So you didn't need to know that, but I didn't know who she was till after, because I was in a book club and they was talking about it, and I hadn't read Yellow Wife, and I was like, oh. So you don't need to read Yellow Wife to know it, but if you read Yellow Wife, when you see her name come up, you're gonna know who she is.
Yeah. Yeah. House of Eve is $6. I did buy that. I bought that. Yep. Some good stuff. And like I said,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said, I felt like we asked her if she was going to continue Yellow Wife, and she said she had. Am I making that up? And there was.
I have to go back and watch that chat. We talked to her for so long. I think that's one of the longest chats.
I felt like she said something like that, and she was like, "You might see somebody pop up."
I think she did. So it probably was House of Eve. Because we spoke to her 2 years ago.
Probably.
Was it that long? 2020? No, 2021, right?
Probably, yeah.
So I'm wondering where she was at with House of Eve when we spoke to her, because now I want to go back and like rewatch it because I want to see if she gave us insight on this book. But I'm pretty sure we did that in 2021.
Yeah, I think so.
I just had all the book selections up. February of 2021. Y'all notice I pick historical fiction for February since it's my birthday month almost every year. Yep, we did Yellow Wife. 2022, we did Wench. And then this year we did the Davenports. So yeah. June, for those of y'all that haven't read it, I know it's going to become a movie or a series or something, but Confessions in B flat, that's what the choice is going to be for June.
Confessions in
I think I have that one.
Who is that? We read her, one of our Christmas
Um,
books was co-authored and she was one of them, I believe. I can't think of her name right now.
Is it
Is it Donna? Donna
Yes.
somebody?
Yes. Because I was like, she was one of the
Oh,
co-authors in
yeah.
that winter book we read one Christmas. The first Christmas book that we read, actually.
I think that's another one that's on Hoopla for people who have Hoopla. That must be why I didn't buy it when it was just on sale.
Because it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donna
Yeah.
Hill.
They're adapting it. Yeah, that came out March 9th that they're adapting it. So I decided to just go ahead and make it a book club. It's got Octavia Spencer.
Oh, cool.
Oh, she's gonna produce the film. No idea when it's gonna come out. But yeah, that'll be our June book of the month.
So Memorial Drive is $10 on Amazon. Someone asked the hard copy.
It's $10?
Okay.
That's too steep for my pockets. It's hard for me to pay full price for a book, especially with all these ebook deals. And then, of course, I get a lot of stuff free, but I take that back. I had to buy Memorial Drive because I needed the physical copy. I actually did not have it. So I did pay whatever it was, $10 on Amazon.
Do any of you do Kindle Unlimited? I get a lot of books through there. Like,
But do they have good stuff? Because I felt like I did a trial or something and the book selections to me just weren't that great. Not stuff that I would normally read.
I feel like
I read a lot of indie Black romance.
And that's when I say, if you read a lot of indie, you'll get.
I feel like they've gotten better because like all the Kennedy Ryan stuff was on there for free. I like thrillers too. So a lot of the thrillers on there for free, but a lot of the main authors, after the book comes out like a month later, a lot of them do
Then it'll go.
Yeah, I'm seeing them do a lot better with more mainstream authors being put on, but I love a good indie Black romance. So yeah, I get my money's worth.
Yeah,
I don't think I have Unlimited, but quite often when I pick a book, it'll tell me read for free with whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then I'll go to pick another one. It's like, oh, you got to turn this one back in. So I'm like, well, do I have it?
That's what I mean by they're getting better by adding, because back in the day,
And you gotta like you only can have like I think 10 at a time, but I'll tell you this much though, it will suggest some stuff because like I said, when it suggested to me love in a bullet hole, I said, what? And it was a for real book called Love and a Bullet Hole. And it suggested that to me because I read Ashley Antoinette and I was like, oh no, I gotta cleanse my palate because after that it was just all these hood books. I said no. So, but yeah, it does generally give some good books. But if you like thrillers, it's plenty of thrillers on there.
Good to know.
Ooh.
I look for the romance stuff. I just remember, I think I did a trial or something and it just wasn't at the time, but this was years ago. I just didn't feel like I was going to get enough bang for my buck, but I think I do all right with Libby. Okay, so I do have a question for y'all Libby users. Like when stuff comes out, do you have to think about going and requesting it that day when it comes out, or does it let you request it before the book comes out? Before
it depends on the
libraries and
because most of mine, like it just says unavailable or this book isn't here yet. So like the other day, what was a book that just came out? It was
was it the Sunny book?
Yes, the other day, and I got a notification
Tuesday.
And I requested it on Tuesday, but it was like later in the day and I still have like, an 8-week wait or whatever. But I'm like, how y'all be getting in line for this stuff?
Let me tell you how it's done.
Right. That's how I was like, I want to know because y'all do this.
On Tuesday, my library that I use, usually they start posting the new books around 3 p.m. So I will start checking my app 2:30ish, 3 o'clock-ish. And there have been rare times when I didn't catch it as soon as they posted it. Just like I did yesterday, and I was able to get the Kindle and the audiobook for Sunny's new book, as well as that other book that I hadn't heard of, Homebodies, but it sounds really good.
Yeah, everybody keeps posting about that.
Yeah. And most of the time they have the stuff, but you can't, it's not there early. My library here in Orangeburg, you can do like the notification, like it's coming soon, but the Columbia Library doesn't do that. But yeah, I stalk the app every Tuesday.
When I see stuff, it depends on the book, I feel like, for mine, but that's why I used to like Overdrive, because Overdrive, you can scroll down the bottom and say, tell my library to get this book.
Mhm.
And then they would buy it, and then I'd get an email saying your library bought this book, but Libby doesn't give you that choice. To say,
Yeah,
and now Overdrive's going away.
Libby, I think I was able to like tag it like as a new release, so it did give me an alert, but by that time it gave me, it was like 8 o'clock at night, so like by that time people had already requested it, so it was late. But I'm trying to think of that Homebody book, if I requested that through Penguin Random House. I hope I did, because I've seen a lot of people posting it lately.
I hadn't heard of it until, and like I said, I go through like the new books as they're posted. There's a little feature, newest or whatever, and I be checking out stuff and don't get to read half of it, but I just be checking it out.
That's why my Kindle been on airplane mode for a month and a half. I have to read Deborah Lee and Rootless before I can turn it back on. Luckily, I have a laptop, so I'm good.
You charge late fees when you don't return them?
No, they take it. Technically, they've taken
it goes away.
You have it downloaded to your device and you turn it on to airplane mode. You still have access to what you've downloaded, so they have it back. And you can't get a late fee with Libby because it's automatic. Like you have 21, 14 days, whatever to read. They take it, they give you a countdown on the app. Like, okay, this book is due back at 11:54 on
and I mean on the minute they will turn it
gone.
I've done that before where it's like you have 48 minutes left to read this book, and I'm like, oh shit, like here we go. Let's start sweating. I was like, I was not ready for this.
But my the Richland Library, they stopped with late fees on actual hard copy books. There were no late fees anymore.
Wow.
Now, if you have the book more than 30 days, then they add it to your account. You'll have to pay for it.
They just charge the price of the whole book.
Yep. If you don't turn it back in 30 days.
Oh wow. I mean, I guess that's reasonable.
Well, they said they did a study and it just wasn't as much income or whatever as they thought it was for people.
$3. Like I remember being a kid and forgetting to turn my library books in and telling my mom when we go to the library, like, girl, I need $3.
Right.
So they stopped doing it. Now my one here in Orangeburg, I had a book. I didn't even read the book. I was like, oh shoot, it's late. I had to pay that $1.20. I was like, y'all need to get with the program.
They got him, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
They arrested the Dion Patterson. I was just looking. Wow.
Good.
Who?
They have him in custody.
Atlanta.
The active shooter in Atlanta.
The Midtown shooter, yeah.
Heard about that. I started a new job, so I've been training. So what happened?
This guy was in one of the local hospitals with his mom and shot and killed one person and injured 4. So a few of us are local to Atlanta. So this has been like, what is going on? Do you need to stay in the house? Where can you go? Where shouldn't you go? So yeah. So he was
he about the care, or does he have mental health issues? Or
we're waiting on those details.
Yeah.
Suspect that that's the issue, but it hasn't been told yet.
There's different reports, but one of them said that he was arrested. So, well, that makes me feel better. I'll sleep better at night. Cause I was like, if nightfall comes, it ain't gonna be good. Trying to find him, they might as well quit. So, all right, ladies, I've taken up a lot of your time tonight. I appreciate y'all.
I thoroughly
Yeah, it's a good one.
Have fun.
So,
Hey, are you watching Vanderpump tonight?
yeah. Oh, you already know. Did you see the finale, the trailer? If y'all
Yes.
don't watch a reality TV show, I mean, that one right there, I've just never seen anything like this in reality TV. Like, it's
Never.
such, I don't even
The
know how to
white
describe
drama
it.
I've
that is
never
happening in this show is fantastic.
It's a spin-off from the Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Lisa Vanderpump. She has her restaurants, and so they had a spin-off that follows the kids that worked in her restaurant. Well, these kids over the years have gotten so famous and become so big, and now they're like owning restaurants of their own, and they're just big stars now. So there's this couple that's been together 10 years, something like that, since almost like he was with another girl, and then they kind of broke up because he was interested. They said he didn't cheat on her, but he was interested in this other girl. So he's been with this other girl for like 10 years now. Cheated on her with someone in their inner circle and nobody in the crew. Like, I mean, this girl has been hanging out with his girlfriend, like as best friends, like in the same circle, going out to dinner, girls trips and stuff, and nobody suspected that her boyfriend and her good friend were cheating with each other.
Yes.
So that it shut the internet down. And so it just came out beginning of March, I think, the scandal. They called it Scandival. His name's Tom Sandoval, and the whole thing is called Scandival now.
He even had his best friend pretend to like her so that people wouldn't know they were dating.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I don't honestly,
wow.
because Tom Schwartz is kind of stupid, I really don't think that he was in on it. I think that they, like the girl, pretended to like him to kind of take the focus off of the other Tom. They're both named Tom, and they have a restaurant named Tom Tom. Anyways, it's a whole big thing. But I think that they played him that he really didn't know until like a month before it came out.
Yeah, I don't think he knew.
He just
I think they played him.
years ago. He's doing all that. Why didn't he just break up with the other
That's
girl?
the thing. They have a home. They have businesses and homes and things, cookbooks and stuff that they've just invested in. And from what he says he's tried to break up with her several times, but she just wasn't believing it or feeling it or whatever. That they have sex like once or twice a year. It's a whole thing. But anyways, they finished the season that's airing right now. And then when this scandal broke, they got all the cameras back up and hurried the next day and started filming all of this drama as it unfolds.
Yes.
So like I'll have to like send y'all the trailer or something, but like even if you just watch the trailer, you'll see like this is what they put the cameras back up for a few weeks ago. And so like every week after the show airs, they have Andy has his little Bravo whatever, Watch What Happens Live. So they put one of the stars from the show on there, and they be answering questions and kind of letting us know what's happening in real time. And it's weird. It's just, and mind you, the girl that he cheated with was also engaged to another guy in the circle, James Kennedy. So
yeah,
it's a lot. When I tell you it's a lot, and he has a new girlfriend, but he can't stop obsessing about his ex-girlfriend. It's a lot going on. But this is like, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah,
the girls
break up with the girl with the cookbook since it's already out. Did they finally break up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's done. There's one scene that he's like, what do you say? Can I get you anything or something? And she said, I don't know. I wish you were dead or something like that. Or
he's like, he said, is there anything you want? She said, for you to die.
Die. That's what it was. She was like, for you to die. And I was just like, I cannot wait to see this go down. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot going on in these. And I mean, like, and the thing is now we know what's coming, but what we're watching on TV happened like, 6-7 months ago, right? Before anybody knew about the scandal. But the shit that they're predicting in these episodes is like, they're insinuating like, oh, Raquel and Tom were at the club dancing, just the two of them. Like, so there's stuff that they're picking up on, but they had no proof that they were cheating. They hid it so well. So when it came to light, they're just shocked. So yeah, anyways, all that to say, I will be watching that in 30 minutes.
But two cheaters are now a couple, or no?
What'd you say? Say that again.
Are the two cheaters now a couple?
In the finale clip that just came out that leaked yesterday, Raquel says no. but they've been hanging out and stuff like that. Right now she's in a rehab mental facility or whatever right now. So but on the video it said that they're not a couple. So I think it's a lie, but supposedly he was sneaking her into the house while Ariana was in the master bedroom, like asleep. He would have her in the guest bedroom and stuff. So
And they brought her a matching necklace so that way they knew that they loved each other, but
yeah,
nobody.
so now in current episodes you see them wearing these lightning bolt necklaces, and it's like a sign to each other that they were in. It's the shit is twisted. Nobody saw this coming.
It's good.
And I'm so invested.
In the circle, none of the girls gave her like, this is bad behavior, I'm not cool.
Oh, everyone, like Sheena. So Sheena and Raquel's the cheater. Sheena is the best friend of the girlfriend that got cheated on, right? They were both on Andy's Watch What Happens Live, and it broke not even an hour after they taped that. And supposedly, like, Sheena punched her in the face, and like there was a whole restraining order. It was like it all broke out. But a lot of the women cannot stand her, like, are going in on her on social media and stuff like that. So yeah, she's pretty much on her own. Like, nobody can stand her, girls or guys.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. But like I guess like this is like 10 years of watching a show, and then this happens. It's like you're so invested in these damn people's lives. It's crazy. Crazy. All right, for real now.
The ATL Housewives, and that's it.
I watch all of them except for New York, Dallas, and Miami. Potomac,
Dubai,
I love all of them.
Over the top. I didn't watch Dubai. You watched Dubai?
I watched a couple of episodes but couldn't finish it. And then I watch Ultimate Girls Trip too. I do love those. The most recent one was good. And that damn Giselle. She over here investigating people over a fucking liquor bottle. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, where were you last night at 7 p.m.?
Renee, before we get off, I was so mad about that because those two chicks from Salt Lake City let Candace get beat up and just talked about, and they had that bottle. I said, isn't it like two white women to let the black woman take the blame?
And
didn't say nothing. And then Leah thought she was doing her a favor by giving it to her in the end. Like, ooh, look what no, y'all let this black woman get accosted this whole time, and y'all had it.
Yeah. And you know how Candace can be. She petty as fuck too. She'll go at it with them. So
okay, I'm gonna get off for real now because
all right. Thanks for joining, y'all. See you guys later. Bye.
I had told y'all out. Bye.
Bye.